This time on Custom Works, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a door which is just essentially a fiberglass flap that don't fit in a hole at all. I'm going to be actually making that fit, making it close up to a rebate, making it latch, doing all of that stuff that makes a useless flap into a functioning door. Let's get to the workshop. This door doesn't fit too bad, but then we get to the front of the door where it goes from this, which is not too bad, that's pretty much okay. All these levels are out, but that can be filled and blocked out. And then we just come down the door. Whoa, look at the state of this. I can get my whole hand in there. So what we're going to be doing is building this section out with fiberglass. And we're going to take that quite thick because, as with all of this car, it is made with the bare minimum of fiberglass. It's literally like it's a gel coat and one layer. It is so weak. So yeah, we'll be glassing all of this in a few layers, and we'll be bringing this edge up, and also we'll be bringing this edge in a little bit. But first, I'll have to bring it up and then out, because as the door opens, this part swings under there. This is where that swings under that piece. So then, as this bit is low, what I'll do is I'll bring this up to that level, let that dry, now come in with another piece that I will bring over to close this gap a little bit. And it's always best to have some fiberglass behind that, just so it's super strong. Bits like this, as you can see, this sticks out quite a lot just here, so we'll be bringing this part of the door up, and you know, a bit of extra fiberglass anywhere on this car is always good. Things have got a little bit better on this door, so it latches and everything, and I've started to fill around the door and close this gap. As you can see, this gap, even in this rough filler, is already a lot better, and the transition between the door, the scuttle panel, or the side of the scuttle panel, and the side of the bonnet has got a lot better as well. But you can see, you know, what was this? It's probably 3mm out, and how far to get rid of that sort of thing you've got to fill. You know, this is like a metre long piece of filler. This gap perhaps needs tightening, just a little bit of sanding in there. One of the worst actual cars I've ever worked on for panel gap. And, you know, I've painted an old British car in the past, so you know what I mean? I know how bad things can get. So today, I will be mostly sanding, and sanding, and sanding, and sanding. But that's pretty much the way bodywork goes. Right then, so something we're looking at here, just how bad these doors are to get any sort of paint finish to. And paint, a mask in particular, always has to come up to an edge. And on here, as you can see, this is like this is the rubber that the window moves in. And then it's just sort of been painted up to, and then there's the rubber. And this is just no good. There's no way of masking this car. So what we need to do is remove this. I like how that's as far as it goes as well. Doesn't actually go down into the runner. But like here, the fiberglass is so thin, like it breaks away. Absolutely shocking. Oh dear. What we're going to do, we're going to build a small upstand along here. We will bond a piece of dye bond like that, and we're going to do this all the way around the window so that we've got something clean, a clean line to mask up to. Because how this is, there's just no way of ever making it right. And certainly when, you know, the fiberglass is so thin, it just sort of snaps away along the edge. We'll get that line nice, and then what we can do is put a seal behind there, and we can make sure that the window, once it's been sort of rejigged, as it's very bad, will slide up and down nicely and actually seal to something, and the paint has an edge to it. So on this car, I've done quite a lot of work in just making the body right and getting simple things like window surrounds, door shuts, things like that to actually work. Just having the shape of a car isn't good enough. And through doing this car, I've realised why. If you go onto eBay, something like that, or you know people who have got cars in the garage, they run, they're probably part wired, mechanical stuff's done, just needs paint and body and glass. And it's because there's nowhere for the windows to fit. No proper sort of recess for the windows to fit into. The panel gaps are terrible, and they do need this level of bodywork. For the average sort of bloke in his garage, I should imagine this level of bodywork to be absolutely daunting. There always is a way to fix it, if it means, like I did on, cut the bonnet in half, or I cut the whole back window section out and redo it. It can be done. Painting a car like this, doing the bodywork on a car like this, is not like a manufactured car. It's not like we just sand it down, prime it and paint it. It is way more involved with that. And if you're having trouble doing that sort of thing, don't worry, because it genuinely is hard. Right, and so I have mitre fixed this strip of dye bonding, and that makes just a lot nicer edge there. We've got somewhere to put a seal to cushion the window. I'm going to run round with some fiberglass tissue just to make sure that that never falls out. So then, on this little upstand that I've added, I've put this tissue all the way round and put the resin on. So now what this do is trim this, give it a quick, I do it with a bit of 40 grit, and then I'll fill up to this edge just to make a nice sort of nice curve up to there, and it should make the window a lot better. Definitely, it's going to look better, and also there'll be somewhere to mask up to when I've come to paint the car. Okay then, so not a job I've been looking forward to, but a job nevertheless that's got to be done. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be trying to form a rebate for this door to shut up to. If we look at the door at the moment, if I open the door, look, the door doesn't shut up to anything. If we look at places like such as down there, there's just daylight coming through, and when daylight comes through, you can bet your life water's going to come through. This whole thing needs a rebate forming around here. To be honest, it's a bit of a nightmare because there is no part of this door where there's just like a straight edge and another straight edge. You're going to fit the rebate up to there and the door's going to shut up to it. Everything is at different levels. We might have gapped the doors on the outside, but if you look in here, down here is almost touching, and up here there's a 20mm gap. And what we need to do is bring a uniform piece in that follows this edge, so the seal goes up to this edge all the way around the door, and like I say, it undulates somewhat, so we've got quite a job on. So we need to make two very different surfaces meet up, and what we need to form is a 6mm gap all the way around that door. I've got to say, I've thought about this for a few days and I thought, surely that's impossible. But I have a way to do it now. So let's get on. Let's try and form a rebate around this door, and let's have it try not to consume our entire lives in the process. Let's get to it. Oh no. Hey, welcome to When Foam Guns Go Wrong. First up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill here with Insta-stick, not expanding foam, Insta-stick. This doesn't really expand that much and it dries a lot faster, so I'll be able to actually get on today. I'm going to fill all up here on the inside of the A-pillar and then all the way down to the floor down here, which if you look, oh my God, look at these metal plates and stuff. Oh gee, I might have to weld something in there. Oh, well, let's get the foam in. This is just the general thing of how this car's made, but everything you do, you find way more to do. Anyway, let's get some foam in. I filled all this with foam, and in about an hour or so, when that foam's fully cured, I'll come back, sand this all flat, and then I will at least have somewhere to start attaching some fiberglass to try and make this rebate for the door to shut up to. I have noticed down in this corner, I'm going to have to weld a plate between here and this sort of angle line framework someone's put in there, because this holds the door. That has got some movement in it. Well, welding near the foam is always a bit dodgy because it burns really well. But we'll have Kirsty on standby with the 79p spray bottle from Wilco. So don't worry, it's all in hand. All of this is now filled. I've cut it back with a Sawzall blade, and what I'm going to do now is just run over it with a GA to make sure this is all on a nice level. So now we've sort of got, you know, something we can put some tape to. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to tape over everything around the outside of the door and up to here. But the reason I'm taping is because I want all this to come back off. So what I'll be left with is a perfect shape of the door frame and the outer door. I'm going to take it off and then I'm going to pack it off 10mm. And what the 10mm will do is that when I put a seal on the inside of the rebate, it will seal up to the door and it will be a nice uniform gap all the way around. But first, I need to make this shape so I can pack it off. And don't forget, you know, on some parts of this, even if it's undulating, 10mm off here is the same as 10mm off there. It's got to be parallel with the shape. So I'm going to tape this up now and then we'll go on with some fiberglass. Right, and so what I've done, I've gone round the whole inside to form the rebate for the door to close to, and I've put the fiberglass mat over the tape, and now what I'm going to do is put some resin on it, and then hopefully once that's dried, this whole thing will pop out. We can offset it 10mm, and then we've got something for the door to seal up to keep the wind and the rain out. Okay then, so put this fiberglass all the way around the door, and it really does go all the way round. And if we look on this door, the edge that I'm trying to get to is this edge around here. And that flat piece all the way around the door, that's where the seal's got to go to. So I've gone round it all, it's all on the tape. So now what I'm going to do now, it's dried. I'm going to take this out, hopefully. So here we go. We've got literally like the perfect shape of the door. So that's the bit we need to fix to. That would be the bit the door shuts up to. And all this undulation is captured in this perfectly. I know this is dry on the back, but I'll be going over it again. It's got plenty on that side. It's hard to stress just how much, I don't know how well the camera will pick this up, but the difference in height here to where it needs to be on the door. And, you know, just in that little section, that's not too hard. But to get this to continue, look, that fades out to almost nothing here. And then it comes back in again. To get any material you know, to fix to the frame and then make that shape to the door, incredibly difficult. Between the door and the actual rebate the door's going to shut up to, we need a gap. Now, the seal I'll be using is this sort of 3M self-adhesive seal. We'll go around, door will shut up to it. Now what I don't want is, first I don't want it to be so tight, you know, the door's always in tension, and also that the door, you know, it messes with our panel gap on the outside. Don't want any of that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a measurement of this, and as I offer it up, yes, essentially it's 10 mil. So to get the little bit of squish on that, what I probably need is like a 7mm packer. So I need to pack this off of the frame by 7mm. So I'm going to make some packers. Right, and so got lots of about 7 or 8mm packers. Obviously it's not, you know, millimetre accurate, but it's pretty damn accurate. So these will act to pack that bit off of the frame. Let's get to the car, let's get these glued on. So then, I'm going to glue these all around here with a bit of filler. Now, you know, some of this, it seems wrong for where it's going to go, but don't forget, that piece of fiberglass fits this perfect. Whatever is 8mm off, no matter where, will always be 8mm off with that as well. It's actually 7mm in it. I don't know, what am I talking about? It's all nonsense, isn't it, mate? It's all nonsense! So put the packers on to give us some datum points of how far this is going to step out. And now, we're going to put this in. Oh, what do you know? It fits absolutely perfect. So yeah, there we go. So what we're now going to do is attach this to all of these packers. And then we'll close the door up and just check for that perfect seal gap that we're going to end up with. And then we'll glass this in and start tidying it up. But for now, let's get this fixed. I've put the full rebate in now, and it does follow absolutely every contour of the car. So you see what this has given us, and it's probably going to be hard to see on the camera. Just here is where the seal will go in. The gap, you can probably see quite well, yeah, down at the bottom, is really uniform around. And we can see just here, like where the fiberglass has gone around the door latch. Probably won't be like that, but it's just a good thing of how the fiberglass makes the perfect shape. The rebate for the door on this side has really come on. On the other side, you know, we've just clamped in this flap, but now we've fiberglassed all of this in. It's super strong, and this, again, we took the mould off the door to make this flange, and then we set it in so we've got an 8mm gap all the way around the door, and this goes right the way round, so no wind or rain or anything is going to get in the car, and this shuts perfectly up to it. Also what we did, I made this latch, which is steel latch, a lot better than those Misak latches we had before, and the door latches into that really nicely as well. Let's have a look at the other side, because that's come along a little bit further than this. On this side of the car, everything's been trimmed up, and what I've done, I've stuck some of this self-adhesive seal to the rebate, just to check that the door shuts, and when the door shuts, it shuts nicely, and you know, the rubber seal isn't under so much stress that it's interfering with my panel gaps, but it's not, and this has come out really nice. The door shuts properly now. This has also got the steel latch, and it's just a lot better, and this car will actually be drivable. You know, it's all very well doing a bare bones hot rod, but you know, some days you're going to have to drive it on a rainy day, and if you really want to use your car, these are the sort of things you've got to do. Okay, that's it for this week. Next week it's going to be all about final body prep, how to put a bar coat on and seal in all the older like sort of rubbish paint before we go on with the paint. That's all going to be next week. So until then, thank you very much and good night.